It's us! Nerd alert! Uh-oh, what's going on?
Is it Halloween?
Oh, I wish it was Halloween. Hello,
Me
guys.
too.
Good evening. Tim and Katie here. Thank you for joining us. Before we go anywhere, just making sure, because we've had these issues
we're
before.
scarred for life.
We're scarred for life. We'll never forget that terrible stream that started with no sound and just kept going.
Yep.
So let's check in on the comments really quick. We got Kaylee from Phantasmic Fandoms in. Mitch is in here. He was early to the party. We got Jay of the Theme Park Foodies. Don't know if Sam's in here or not, but we'll find out. Zoe, what's up?
Hi, Zoe.
I see Vanessa.
And Chad.
Where's Chad?
Well, 2 tickets to Adventures End, so I'm assuming that Vanessa's in one and Chad
Oh, yeah.
in the other. Also, apparently our
There you
sound is
go.
good.
Awesome.
So we have heard everything.
All right.
Awesome, guys.
Ain't we cute? Look at this cutie. Isn't he the cutest? All right. We're going to waste no time here. We do have a guest for you guys tonight, and tonight is a very special show because it is not at all about theme parks, which is what we usually cover on this channel. But because we are not theme park channel, we are Tim and Katie based.
And it's about what we like to do.
It's about what we like to do. So tonight we're going to be talking about convention etiquette, by which we mean Comic-Cons, pop culture cons, anime conventions, the do's and don'ts of all of the above. And to help us talk about that, we brought in a very special guest. Please welcome Wonder Woman.
Hi, everyone.
Thank you for coming here.
Of course, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm so excited to talk about the do's and don'ts and the conventions and the past ones that you've gone and I've gone to.
A lot of them are the same, like the same con.
We have run into each other a few times.
We were just talking backstage about how our first con was also Wonder Woman's first con.
Yeah.
Like, we both started going at the same time, and we met at that con by random chance, and then we just kept on meeting at other cons over and over again, and we became friends, and it was awesome. And that's what cons are all about. It's fantastic. So anyone in the comments, I think Wonder Woman is fairly obvious, but if you want to guess what me and Katie are, you can go ahead and drop a comment.
I feel like if you don't know,
if you can't guess,
Tim and I are.
If you can't guess, cons might not be for you.
No, cons are for
I'm
everyone.
kidding. Cons are for everyone.
They are.
So thank you for joining us, Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is actually our friend Rachel, who again we've met at many cons before and has been an absolute pleasure to interact with. And we wanted to have her on because she's been to exactly as many conventions as we have, like almost the fixed number.
Or a similar route.
Yeah,
but she's done way more cosplays than we have.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You also have your own kind of side business revolving around costume characters. Did you want to touch on that real quick while we have a second?
Yes, I do own a princess company called the Happily Ever After Princess Company. I've been a professional princess for about almost eight years. But the Happily Ever After Princess Company has only been around for about a year and a half. And right now we're currently just doing events since the whole COVID thing, it kind of hurt the princess parties. So now we're just doing events for a little bit and hopefully someday we can get back to parties.
Yeah. So she has an event coming up this weekend, which I think is sold out, which means you're doing, pretty good business still. There's a demand for princesses. Believe me, I get it.
Especially when you don't live anywhere near Florida.
Yeah, when you have to fly into Florida, it's a little harder to find princesses. So, guys, do please follow our friend Rachel at happilyeverafterprincess.co is the Instagram handle, right? I didn't typo that.
Yep, that's correct.
Okay. And your cosplay account I put on there too. Sorry if you didn't want that there. It's there.
That's fine.
And then the Happily Ever After Princess Company is just the full title on Facebook for the Facebook page as well. Also,
that's where we get most of the updates in that one. So
right, I see that's where most of the events go is on the Facebook page, I think.
Yes. Too. And while you're at it, you can also follow us on our socials because we do fun things sometimes and we like to post about them. Facebook gets a little less love than Instagram, but it all kind of transfers over. And then our website is just where our mindless rants go.
Really well thought out blog posts.
Yes. Sometimes I have opinion pieces that I post every once in a while, but Katie actually just started writing some blog posts for the website and they're good. So everyone needs to go and read them. They're better than mine. So tonight we are going to talk about convention etiquette, as I mentioned, the do's and the don'ts, but also just what to expect. Because I'll be honest, the first con that I ever went to, which was also Wonder Woman here's first con, but not Katie's, was Otakon 2014, right?
Yeah.
That was the one. And that was the last one that they did in Baltimore in the convention
Baltimore
center.
Convention Center.
Yeah, before they outgrew.
It got way too big. It was very crowded, that last one.
You can believe that they outgrew it because they were lines were wrapping around the halls and stuff.
Yeah, it took forever.
Yeah. I will be 100% honest. Going into that convention, I felt very out of place. I have grown up in. First of all, let me clear the air here. I am not a Nickelodeon kid. I am not an anime kid. I grew up on.
Says the guy dressed as Ash Ketchum.
Well, let's get there. There's a story. I grew up on Kids WB, so I didn't even have cable. So Batman the Animated Series, Pokemon was a gateway anime for me, but I didn't recognize it as anime. So when I started dating this young lady here, and she is all about anime all the time. Yeah. She says, well, first of all, she goes to Otakon by herself for a couple years and has gone previously with friends and whatnot. So one year I'm sitting at home alone while she's at Otakon for the weekend. And I'm thinking well, this is boring. I don't like this. I don't like that she's off having fun. And I'm just sitting around doing nothing. So,
and I was sending him pictures and stuff.
Yeah. So I was next year I'm going to try to go with you. But then as it got closer and the date kept sneaking up, I was
very anxious.
Yeah, I don't know. Cause I'm not going to offend anyone here. I promise. But I'm not, the actual thought going through my mind was it's a den of nerds. And I don't want to be I don't feel comfortable with myself. I don't feel comfortable around that mass conglomerate of geekdom. But probably 3 steps into the actual event, still nervous walking in. The costumes were mind blowing. This.
Oh my gosh.
These right here, which Vanessa correctly called as being Ash and Hermione.
Woo!
I'm Ash from Pokemon X, Y, and Z specifically, and she's Hermione from
my closet.
Her closet.
What I have in my
Hermione's
closet.
These are what we refer to as casual cosplays. They don't require a ton of effort. We can literally just throw them on and we basically look like ourselves.
What
Wonder Woman
Rachel
is clearly not
casual. She does amazing work with her cosplays.
Yes, and they are very official and they look great.
Oh, thank you.
We don't put much work into our costumes.
The ones that look really good were made by someone else.
Those are the best.
Else.
They're so original too.
They are someone else's art that we wear proudly.
Yeah. So that was my first experience walking into the convention, was seeing all these amazing artisans and costumes and everyone super excited. And they weren't just anime either. There, like you saw Batman and Harley Quinn wandering around. Like
Disney
the specific
characters.
event was an anime convention, but it was like a freedom of expression event.
Yeah.
Like everyone came wearing whatever they wanted, and it was great. Like, and the costumes were so impressive that I instantly adapted to. I have a really fancy camera, and all I want to do today is roll around taking pictures of people in awesome costumes. And that was my con for that weekend, and that was great. And the next time we went, I was like having even more fun and getting more into the spirit. And then the time after that, we were going to Awesome Con, and that was a whole different experience. That's not just anime. That's like everything. That's pop culture.
All of it.
So yeah, and you can have all kinds of different con experiences, but there are like some, I would say, broad strokes things that are going to be consistent for like every con. And that's why we put together this list of like do's and don'ts. Looks like Andrew Macaulay likes Akira, which I know is the anime about the bike. I don't know if it's a movie or if it's a show.
We have not seen that one.
Specifically about the bike. It's about a bike rider.
It's very famous. And
it's
very
well
popular.
known. Yes.
We just haven't seen it. I have a niche for anime.
Oh, Marvel Thrills is here. Thanks for joining. The Wonder Woman is perfect for Six Flags Magic Mountain's new coaster. So they getting a new coaster called Wonder Woman, and
that isn't a single rail.
No, yeah, it's already Texas is the one that has the single rail.
Oh.
Magic Mountain's getting a new one, a fresh one. Yeah.
Awesome. Yes. Six Flags loves their
Akira is a movie. I meant to.
Oh, that's right. It's a movie.
Knew that,
but it's
and I said
anime
the opposite. So
I think I just saw that.
Never feel free to correct us, guys. We do not know everything.
Yeah, I definitely do not.
Yeah.
All right.
Meanwhile, while we're talking, if you guys have ever been to a convention, feel free to drop it in the comments and let us know what you thought your experience was like.
Yes, please do.
All right.
I figure let's just start with the most important piece of every convention. If you go to a con, people are going to be in cosplay, which is why we have dressed thusly. These, again, these are casual cosplays. Wonder Woman is a little bit more complicated of a cosplay. You'll see everything from I would say
I made my own Master Chief armor.
Yep. You'll see everything from the backyardian is what I'm going to call it. What? The backyardian, like Captain America with a trash can lid, all the way up to like you say, Master Chief in full 3D printed armor, and it's
with lights.
Yeah. People are insane in the best possible way. Cosplay is a huge part of every convention. However, if you're not expecting it, if you don't know what cosplay is, it's costume play. That's two words pushed together. And if you're not expecting it, there are some things that I think are kind of important to know when you're going into a con. So first thing, and this is incredibly important, and everyone who's ever been to a con probably knows this, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway because it's just so critically important to every con experience. Cosplay is not consent. Respect the cosplayer. What this means, if I should have to explain it, is that just because a person chooses to dress as a character that may have a slightly more revealing outfit or might be a more flirtatious character or whatever on screen doesn't necessarily mean that they are that character and they want to be approached thusly in lewd or disrespectful ways. In fact, it absolutely does not mean that. So it's important to, fortunately, I'm not attractive, so I've never had this problem. But I think it's incredibly important though, because there are tons of cosplayers who go to the cons who have worked really hard on their costumes, and maybe their costumes are a little bit more revealing, but they do deserve a safe space to practice their art. And we all kind of have to be, if you're going to take a picture of someone who has a fantastic cosplay, it's important to ask before you take that picture. If you want to take a picture with someone in particular, shouldn't have to be snaking your arm around their waist or whatever.
Just ask what's
just
okay.
Everyone there is there for the same experience that you guys are there for. So it's important to be respectful of everyone who's there.
Any comments about that particular point from you, Rachel?
Yes.
Unfortunately,
that is a common problem that people just don't ask. So they don't even give you time to pose. And there's been times where I've gone to the bathroom and people have been taking pictures of me while I'm like washing my hands. And I'm like, can you just wait till we go outside?
Don't do that, people.
No.
Don't do that.
Yeah, and of course the wrapping around kind of thing, that's been multiple times. So it's definitely a don't do it.
Yep.
It's a thing that like and not everyone, I'll say this too, not everyone who does that does it to be rude or disrespectful. Some people with the arm wrapping around, like that's just them forgetting themselves and getting excited and whatnot. But it's still impolite and disrespectful, and it shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
So like if you're going for the first time and you see like as I say, amazing cosplayers who have slightly more revealing outfits or whatever, that's fine if you get excited about it, if you love that character, if you want a picture with them. I think that's all well and good. Just be polite, be respectful, ask before taking a photo, ask before buddying up in the photo.
And the other thing, like, you have to respect that person's time and stuff too. So yeah, no bathroom taking sneaky photos.
Don't sneak
and
people.
if they're like,
Don't stalk people, basically.
Second to like,
They're like, oh, can
food
we get
into
a
their
picture? I'm
mouth.
like, hold on.
Yeah, like give them a second. I mean, if they're obviously on a break, they've taken off part of their costume and they're trying to just relax and eat some food, like respect that time. You know, you can ask when they're going to be up and roaming around again and see if you can catch them then, but don't be like stalking people across the floor just to get your photo.
We have a couple comments from other people who have been to cons. Mitch has been to Chicago Comic-Con, says it's very well run.
Awesome. We'd
On
love
our
to
bucket
get
list.
that one day.
Zoe says she's never been to a con and now she really wants to go.
Oh,
so
cool.
She needs
that
to
was
go.
you, Rachel. It couldn't be us. Vanessa's been to Heroes and Villains.
What?
We're gonna show a
retired
clip.
con.
We're gonna show a clip from Heroes and Villains later tonight. That con just met a tragic end and it's no longer around. But I swear it was the best con we had ever been to.
It was a lot
for
of
a very
fun.
short while.
And then someone else mismanaged it, unfortunately.
Which happens.
Yeah.
Mitch says a Supernatural con is a terrible venue.
No, in a terrible venue.
Oh, in a terrible venue.
Yep. We were just talking about if it's a too small of a hotel or something.
I'm not going to throw any cons under the bus on this particular broadcast, but there are some in the community that like you just know what you're getting into, and others that you are surprised and disappointed by what you're getting into. And then there are some that are like well-renowned and respected. And yeah. Marvel Thrills, if you've never been to a Comic-Con, this is your year, bud.
Yeah. Find one. They're all over the place.
They are coming back to life. And fortunately, I don't want to make any promises because it looks like BA2 may be a slight bit of a problem here, but I think that the era of COVID impacting cons is slowly winding down, so we can start to kind of get back to what we love doing.
Yeah.
Surprise cosplay!
Oh
fans.
gosh, that's me. As a blonde, if you've ever wanted to know.
Yep.
You look good. I like it.
That was a fun photo shoot.
Everyone said she was unrecognizable. This is Katie as Black Canary.
Yeah,
from
I
Era.
thought that was some random person. You look good.
Oh, thanks. That was a fun one. That was hot though. That was
Oh yeah, we shot this in July, and she's wearing like leather, so
it's not even real
It's like
leather. It's plastic
leather, yeah.
leather, which is worse.
That day.
All right, respect the character. This is similar to what we were just talking about, but different in the sense of like the character brings a little bit of the cosplayer out of their shell, if that makes sense. So my subtitle on this was "Don't Burst Someone's Bubble." When we went to Otakon for the first time, I foolishly, not knowing what I was getting myself into, dressed up as Deathstroke for one of the days because I was like super gung-ho about the CW's Arrow show, and I wanted to like dress up and like I think I spent I'm not good at like building my own costumes.
He agreed
so
he would cosplay, but his face had to be hiding.
Yeah.
So he had to wear something with a helmet.
You're like Spider-Man then.
Yeah, I could have. That would have been easier. But everyone does Spider-Man.
Yes, there's always
There's always Spider-Man. There's always for that matter, there's always Deathstrokes too. But I was really caught up in like the CW's Arrow, Deathstroke, and I was like, this is such an accessible costume because it's like actually been made for TV. So if I piece this together, and so I built that costume out of like some props I got off Etsy, some props I ordered from Amazon, and I was really proud of it. And I was rolling around. First of all, one eye, so I can't see very well.
He had his glasses
Can't wear
off.
glasses on underneath that helmet. It's too tight. So Katie's got to like lead me around by the arm. But
He also can't hear.
I could hear kind of.
It wasn't that.
It wasn't good. The most important thing, though, that I learned that day is that dressing up as a costume character, particularly with a mask, makes for a very, very hot con day.
Yeah.
So I'm like I'm having to like constantly go off into like hallways and take everything off and like cool down a little bit before I can like mask up and go back out to the floor. Because little pro tip, if you dress up in an awesome costume, people are going to ask to take your picture. And sometimes you go like all day and like you get no breaks. Like every time you turn around, it's like one more person. Can I put you in this cosplay video? Can I take your picture? Can this go on Instagram? And it makes you feel really cool and special, but at the same time, you're like,
Exhausted.
I need a break.
Yeah, it exhausts you so fast.
Yeah, I'm sure you know all about that because I'm one of those people that bothered you about pictures.
Yeah, we are those people.
When you have to smile for like all day, your jaw hurts so much.
Yeah. Which is another reason why I like the mask, because I'm like, I can hide how I actually. But
No,
here's
but
the thing.
and if you wear a mask, you still smile.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. Like,
It's true. You absolutely do. I was like tucked into a back hallway in the Baltimore Convention Center for Otakon. I have like dismounted my
Taking off your
Deathstroke
helmet.
and I'm like standing in the hall, just like breathing. Along comes this Nightwing cosplayer, which if you don't know these characters, Nightwing is the DC Comics adversary of Deathstroke. So he's way into it and like super into character. And he's like, hey, Slade, what you doing over there? Come out here and fight me. And I'm like, put the helmet back on, put the sword on. I'm just like, okay, I'm coming. But you know what? That's like that's what I mean by like don't burst someone's bubble. Like if you're coming as Deathstroke, be prepared to engage with a Nightwing every once in a while. If you're coming as Wonder Woman, be prepared to pose with other Justice League characters. If you're coming as Tinkerbell and you bump into a Wendy or a Peter Pan, like people are gonna want photos. And I think that's like part of enjoying the con. It's part of like everyone else enjoying the con too. So that's why I'm like, respect the character just as much as you respect the cosplay. Because if you come in a costume that you're really proud of, but then you isolate yourself from the community, it's no fun for anyone. Because like people come up and they want to take your picture and you're like, oh, no, thank you. And everyone's like, oh, okay. You got to know what you're getting into is kind of where my head's at there. And just for funsies, I put this one of you.
Oh, my sister.
This is a someone else being Wonder Woman, but you're in there.
We like to switch it up.
That's Rachel as Tink. She has a wonderful Tink cosplay and looks great every time.
Yes, she does. That's actually how we first met you.
Yep. Yeah, and my sister was Wonder Woman and I was Tinkerbell. It was so fun. It was very exhausting because it was the first one and we did not expect to be like taking pictures all day.
Oh, yeah. That's exactly what happened to everyone on their first con.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but luckily the very first day we didn't dress up because we didn't know how many people were going to dress up and we didn't want to feel like weird. So we could dress up in Dragon Ball Z gear. And then we're like, oh my gosh, everyone's dressing up. We were doing this the next day. And then we did this the next day.
It is weird though, because I think we did 3 days at Otakon and we did cosplay on Saturday, but nothing on Friday and Sunday. And when we went back in on Sunday, it was like almost like we were in disguise.
Yeah.
Because we were like walking around like no one knows who we are. We can do all this.
The actual reason for that was because at that particular event, there was a celebrity guest that we really wanted to meet and take pictures with. And I was like adamant about, I am not wearing a stupid superhero costume to go and meet Laura Bailey Trouserly.
Yeah.
Which is, we'll get to celebrities too, because that's a big part of our cons that we've been to more recently, and especially Awesome Con that brings in a lot of pop culture guests. But yeah, there's all kinds of reasons why people love to cosplay and why it's okay also to take a break from cosplay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mitch has been to a small horror con that was awesome.
Yep. Sometimes those small ones are just a blast.
I think these are all in reference to you.
Oh.
Wow,
Gosh.
dang it.
I haven't put that one on in years.
You came this close to doing Princess Ariel tonight.
I know. Well, I talked to my husband in the morning before I went to work, and I was like, I'm gonna be Ariel. And he was like, I thought you were gonna be Wonder Woman. You want me to be Wonder Woman? Yeah, be Wonder Woman. I was like, okay, be Wonder Woman. I was fine with either one.
It's I mean, cosplay's flexible, right? You've got what you've got in the closet when you're ready to. That's what casual cosplays are great for. Is like if you hear you're supposed to be at a costume party, you're like, well, I got this.
Yeah, Halloween's great. I mean, I with the costume contests and stuff. The costumes, especially for Elsa and Anna. Like I've told my friends who was like, we need to go to a contest because we would so win. And I was like, okay, we'll try it.
I love Elsa and Anna.
I would
They're my
say
favorites.
If you go for Zoe, if you about go to any con that's like a pop culture con, you're probably gonna see Disney characters, and they're gonna be.
I would say any con you'll see Disney characters.
Yeah, I mean, but well, I don't think we saw any Disney characters at Monster Mania.
That's true. No, we did.
Who did we see?
We saw. I don't remember, but I remember thinking that was a weird choice. Because there was one. There was only one.
There's one. But like a general pop culture or even like an anime convention, there's usually Disney characters there.
It was Elsa because someone in the lobby, like we were watching them go by and someone standing next to us was like, that's a weird choice.
Yeah. I mean, there was some lady dressed in like a really pretty flower dress, but I don't know what it was.
There are no rules with like what dressing up in terms of like dressing up in cosplay.
I'm just saying if you want to run into Disney characters, a horror convention is probably not the first one you want to go to.
I would agree. I'm not sure anyone said it was, but okay.
No, but I just was trying to make a suggestion for Zoe.
I know. I get your point.
Put a spell on you.
Casting spells.
Yes.
This is an important one for me personally, and I felt the need to include it because my time to be in the spotlight here is coming up. Respect the effort. Cosplay is easy. Confidence is hard. What I mean by that is like someone like me that's like living under the stigma of the den of geek is not inherently comfortable in costume the way that other people are. Some people love to get in costume because they're like, they feel more freedom to be someone else than they do to be themselves. And that's a cosplay can be like a really nice, fun release for a lot of people. But for other people, it's like, I'm going in cosplay because my friends are going in cosplay and I don't want to be the buzzkill. And I'll have fun when I get there, but I'm not looking forward to leaving the house this way. And I'll throw myself under the bus here. I'm not the best Kristoff, all right? But I left it out.
Good, actually. That's really good.
I think it looks good.
It's a cute pick. I deliberately chose a cute one. So
I noticed you didn't grab one of the ones of him getting snuggly with Anna.
Yeah. I can't be held accountable for this one. This was just me and Olaf chilling. Oh, Zoe's already seen it. It's too late.
The other thing is like, you know, you might see one Wonder Woman walk by that looks amazing, and the next one is they definitely put some effort into it, but you know, just don't compare. No
comparing.
Don't make any comments. Usually I just go, awesome Wonder Woman. And,
what you're trying to say is that there are varying degrees to which cosplayers try or don't try,
or maybe they're just learning. Like I follow a lot of cosplayers on Instagram, and they'll sometimes post their cosplays from 10 years ago, and I'm like, oh wow,
yeah,
that looks like pajamas.
Everyone does start somewhere.
They start somewhere and they grow.
At all. Horrible. I don't know why people hired us.
I saw those costumes. I thought they looked great.
Yeah. So that's what I thought of, like, when I saw that prompt was be respectful of everyone. Everyone puts in the time and effort that they can do for their cosplays, and just because one is not as impressive as another doesn't mean you have to make a comment about it.
Now, if I usually see someone who's like the same character as me, I'm just like, oh my gosh, Wonder Woman, take a picture of me. And so we take like a group picture, and I think it's fun. And it makes my day. So
Those are my favorite photo ops, actually. The ones where like all the cosplayers will be like, okay, all the Digimon kids get together, and you will see like truly people who like go all the way into the deep end and like spent probably $3,000 crafting a perfect like Agumon or War Greymon or whatever, and then you have like the guy at the end who like for all intents and purposes his costume is goggles, and they're all part of the same community, and that's fine.
Yep.
So like the further you get into this rabbit hole, the more fun you can have cosplaying. But it's definitely something that's like an acquired taste. Like it's something you gotta, if you're gonna do it, you gotta want to do it. But eventually you get sucked in, and it's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
You have any other comments on cosplay, Rachel? I didn't want to. Before we're moving on to the next segment.
Well, there's one thing, like beforehand, like when at cons, it's like you're gonna get very sweaty around a lot of people. I always recommend bathe in the before. You're gonna take a break and you've been like in a big, like this outfit, surprisingly, I'd be like covered in sweat by like lunchtime. It's like really bad. But we do just have hygiene and stuff. Mainly.
We are actually going to bring that up later too, because that is a good point for anyone going to a con. Not
that is not cosplay specific advice.
But
that is very important for anyone attending a
and that's why it's going to be on our slides too. So thank you.
That was one that like I was talking with Katie about, and I was like, I don't know. It kind of seems like an aggressive tactic. And she's like, we have to cover it.
I'm pretty sure I said like a week ago, I was like, is hygiene on your slideshow? And he said, yes. I'm like, good.
Yes, hygiene is important.
Yes.
Before we get there, my favorite topic, because this is actually what like my cons have kind of gradually become more about, is spending a lot of money to meet famous people. Basically.
And getting their autographs.
Getting autographs and photos.
Yeah.
So celebrities, when we talk about celebrities, that means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. It varies by the con. We just attended Monster Mania up in New Jersey, Cherry Hill. It was a fun con. Definitely has outgrown its space. So it's a little bit tight and cramped, and because of that, it's a little bit more disorganized than some of the other cons we've been to. But the celebrities they got, which were honestly part of the problem, they had Michael C. Hall from Dexter, like the chief character, plus most of his co-stars. Then they had Dana De Lorenzo and Ray Santiago from Ash vs. the Evil Dead. They had the voice of Ghostface from Scream. Mm-hmm. These may not be like...
They were going to have Ernie Hudson from Ghostbusters,
yeah, he
but
dropped
he couldn't
out.
come.
He had a filming conflict. That's good. That means he's filming stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that con was very horror focused. So it drew in horror guests. Awesome Con is very pop culture focused. So they have like Doctor Who guests, Boy Meets World guests,
Star Wars,
Star Trek, literally everything under the sun. Voice actor, wrestling. Yeah. So like I feel like Awesome Con is an awesome like starter con because it covers like everything. And, like,
you're going to find something you like there.
Right.
Yeah.
Celebrities in particular, I feel like they draw from like, and Power Rangers. Power Rangers is a huge one.
Yep.
They draw on like all media and all different types of media to get people in there that people will really like. There's also cons like Heroes and Villains Fan Fest.
R.I.P.
Yes. If you go and look up Heroes and Villains Fan Fest, no one will tell you that the con is dead. This is something that you have to have been in the community to know. It fell under new management, and unfortunately, the new management was not good at managing the con, and they ran out of money, and it's just underwater. So it's never coming back, and we've all accepted that. But when this started out, it was very much a con about the CW superhero shows, plus Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., like the big TV superhero phenomenon that was going on.
And Walking Dead was usually part of Heroes and Villains Fan Fest too.
No,
they had their own
Walker Stalker.
Yeah, but they would have Walking Dead guests on too.
Sometimes they would cross-pollinate, but they brought this. They tried to divvy up the superhero people for Heroes and Villains and the Walking Dead stars for Walker Stalker, which was the same company. They were run by the same management team. I do want to show a quick clip if you'll permit me, it's going to have kind of an abrupt ending because I pulled it off of our Facebook account and I wasn't able to edit it because the videos on Facebook are encoded in such a stupid way. So I'm going to pull it up real quick and then I'm going to exit out. But this was the best con that we ever went to. And it was the con that basically did not happen. So it's not very bad outside right now. It's a little light, but it's more wet than it is snowy. And we have heard tell that celebrities are in the area. So we're gonna find them.
He's covering it up.
We're on the hunt for Stephen Amell and John Barrowman.
We have searched every hotel.
We found famous people. So we were out of the hotel, and this is what happens at a con when you get canceled and it's Snowmageddon. And now I'm gonna strip.
Oh my God, it's Robbie Hill. Oh my God. Let me get another one. That might not have been in focus.
There you go.
All right, we'll say something real quick because it's a video.
We're in Carrabba's. Wow. I'm not awkward at all.
It's a throwback, isn't it?
God. I would probably play that over interaction a little differently.
That was Heroes and Villains Fan Fest, and it was during one of their maiden events that basically got snowed out.
They scheduled a con in New Jersey. In
Winter
the middle
Storm
of
Jonas
January.
came and like blew it out. And we, because it was so important to us, we'd already invested all this money in Go, and we didn't want to miss it. We drove up in the snow.
No, it was before the snow started. We left a day early so that
True,
we wouldn't
we drove
get in the
up
snow.
to avoid the snow.
And everyone thought we were
3 days
crazy.
before the con, we checked into the hotel in the complex and we got our badges and everything. And then a state of emergency was declared and they had to basically call the whole con off. And we were like, well, now we're going to spend 3 days in a hotel in New Jersey not doing a con. And that sucks because we had this great plan. We were going to meet Stephen Amell. We were going to meet John Barron. We were going to meet Katrina Law and Katie Cassidy and all these famous Arrow stars. And come to find out, they had already arrived and were like,
And Karen Gillan. I met Karen Gillan that weekend.
Karen from Doctor Who and Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, there were a lot of people who were already there that had flown in ahead of the storm for exactly the same reasons we did. Plus, like, the 20 people you saw in that bar. More than 20. But, like, the people who came ahead that were, like, afraid of being snowed out. And we all discovered from checking Instagram that the stars were staying in the same hotels that we were. So we went across the street to Carrabba's and we had drinks with Stephen Amell and Robbie Amell and John Barrowman. And that was the greatest story. That is truly the greatest story I will ever have to tell.
Yeah.
And all of that is because we were geeks and wanted to go to a con and happened to get snowed out.
They did finally let the Sunday open so we could finally had like one con day.
They did.
And that's where I got to meet Karen because she was like stuck in her hotel for 2 days and came out and I got to take a picture with her. But
yes. So the celebrities thereafter became like a big part of our cons because that, as cool as that was, it was also the event that taught us that celebrities are just people like us who like make time to hang out with us at these events because they know how important their presence is to the community. And so that was it's just truly the coolest thing that's ever happened.
And when
to
they're
us.
stuck in a hotel when it storms, they
get
also
bored
get
too.
cabin fever. So, yeah.
2016.
Vanessa was there. Oh, man, that's cool. Did you ever let us know what you did? Did you make it to Sunday? Did you get to meet anyone? Let us know, Vanessa. I can't believe you were there. That's so funny.
There's a lot of overlap in the YouTube and con communities. I told you this would be a great live. Rachel, any stories on celebrity encounters that you'd like to share before we?
So I'm horrible with names. But I'm going to go back to the first con because me and my sister were so excited about the voice actors of Goku and Vegeta were going to be there. And we had no idea about anything. Like, we didn't know we had to, like, wait in line. So we were not waiting in line, and we walked. They walked past us, and they noticed our, like, Dragon Ball, like, merch we were wearing. And they stopped, and they talked to us. And I know, it was amazing. And then we just stood there. Our distance, we had a big distance, and watched them sign everyone's little thing they brought. And the voice actor of Vegeta, he saw us, and then he let us come over there and then talk to him. And then he even did a video for my sister saying, "Valerie, your shirt is over 9,000." And it's amazing. That was like the best day. My sister was like shaking because
that is a fantastic.
I know. I don't know how that happened, but it happened, and it was amazing.
It's
actually not that far removed from our story about Stan Lee.
No, that story's way better than Stan
yes, it
Lee.
is. It is.
Stan Lee almost hit us on a scooter once. That's
no.
But that's like the whole story.
But that was his like last con.
Stan Lee, the great himself, came.
No.
Awesome Con the year he came, and it was a madhouse because he came, because everyone was standing.
He's like 95 years old.
Everyone knew it was the last chance they were ever going to have to see him. So like there's a 5-hour line,
$450 each.
5-hour line to have 3 seconds with him, and we're like looking at the line, we're like, nah. Little did we know he's not at that table. He comes down in an elevator while we're coming down an escalator. Elevator opens at the base of the escalator because of how the convention's laid out, and he comes screaming out on his little scooter and like runs over our feet almost.
No, he did. But we were coming down the stairs, and he just goes, "Excuse me, folks."
Excuse me, folks.
And I was like, "That was Stan Lee."
And we were like, that is the most Stan Lee-est thing that Stan Lee has ever done.
Yeah, but awesome. Those kind of interactions, like what Rachel described, is that's the coolest.
I agree. Yeah,
and they're just cool people. When it's cool, okay, that's sometimes. When you meet your heroes, you can be a little disappointed. But when they meet and exceed your expectations, that's the best feeling.
Exactly. It's the best feeling in the world.
This photo that I pulled up is Katrina Law. If anyone knows her, she's on, I think she was on Hawaii 5-0 most recently. But she was on Arrow as Nissa Al Ghul for a while. She is the sweetest human being. I believe at this point she knows our names because we've met up with her so regularly. This con was the first con we'd ever gotten a chance to meet with her, and she, you pay for a selfie, which we'll get to, and that's like a table photo where someone holds your phone, you can hold your phone, the celeb can hold your phone.
Like an actual
selfie. You just take like a non-professional photograph, and she gave us like 4.
Yeah.
So she was just like, no, let's do this pose. No, let's do this pose. No, let's do this pose. We got to know Katrina so well over the course of like several cons that we actually sent her an invite to our wedding. She didn't come, but she sent a note and a thank you.
Yeah, that's great.
Which brings me to celebs are people just like you. Respect them. Respect the time that they take with you. This is the same as cosplay, guys. Like these are normal people who want to have a fun con experience, appreciate being part of the community, and if you are up in their space, like occupying an hour and a half of their line, that's going to mean that like 7 people behind you don't get the 15 minutes that they also want. And the celebrity's not going to appreciate that any more than the fans behind you are.
If you have 400 people in line behind you, you're not going to get 15 minutes with them. You'll be lucky to get a minute and make the most of it.
Yeah. And that's not because they're terrible people. That's because they've
everyone
just got a lot
else
of fans.
is in line to see them too. So
regarding the table photos, because I mentioned this, meeting celebrities is pricey. Some of them will have lower prices out of respect for their what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say like certain celebrities are like lower tier, but the less exposure a celebrity has, the more likely they are to just be casual about their price structure. Like Dana De Lorenzo, when we met her at Monster Mania, she's really done Ash vs. the Evil Dead and a couple appearances on talk shows, and that's it. So she's very friendly. She'll spend like 15 minutes with every fan doing autographs and selfies. And she had, I think her photo op was 40. And
it was like It was
40 for a photo, 40 for an autograph, but you could combo it for 60.
No, it was something like that. Whatever. I don't remember exactly. But a $60 autograph is not a lot of money in the industry, I would say.
Yeah, it's not. And if you want to meet these people, you can without paying anything most of the time. Like most celebs will let you stand in a line to like get to the front, shake their hand, and have a cool story to tell later.
Yeah.
But it's, if you're going to be waiting in their line, it would be cool if you at least paid for a photo so that they get something for the time that they're spending there at the table too. Which is why I say, like, just budget accordingly. You don't have to meet celebrities at Comic-Cons or pop culture cons or anime cons or whatever.
You can just roam around taking pictures,
you can do whatever you
buying
want.
merch.
Getting your ticket into the door is your ticket into the con. After that, it's whatever you want to make of it. But if you're going to want to meet celebrities, just plan to bring, I would say cash too, because a lot of cons don't take credit. They're starting to more so after the pandemic, I've noticed.
And a lot of times in the bigger conventions, a more popular guest will have like a what? They will have their autograph, like what their autograph and what their like professional photo with them cost is, so you can kind of help budget for that too. Yeah, I agree, Mitch. I feel like that's
45,
pretty standard.
65.
For example, I remember specifically that Stanley's autograph, just him signing something, was $400 or something like that, and I was like, hell no.
You gotta decide what it's worth to you.
Yeah, I mean, someone we knew someone who had like a first edition Spider-Man comic or something, and they wanted it signed by Stan Lee, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, if I had that, I'd probably want that signed by Stan Lee too, and I'd pay.
Yeah, because suddenly overnight it's worth $1,500.
Right, but it's what's important to you. If I love meeting the voice actors because they're part of my childhood, and like I loved meeting, like I think we've met her more than once, Grey Delisle.
Oh yeah.
She does the voice of like
everything.
So many people, but I love her
she's
from
Catwoman,
Avatar as
Azula. She's in Avatar, she's in Catwoman, she's in what's it called? Shaolin Showdown, which is an obscure show that I watched on Kids WB, and I was like, really? But yeah, voice actors are very versatile. So and they're usually the most fan friendly in most cases because you rarely get to see their faces. And so they're so excited to be like someplace talking to real people and not a microphone.
Getting to act with them is awesome.
You got Kaylee with the Azula.
Right? I got to pose where I think, did we have? No,
yeah,
that was in. We have a picture of her somewhere where I'm posing doing the lightning with Azula. It was awesome.
And that was her idea, by the way. She did that.
She's very sweet.
I skipped Vanessa's comment. She said she didn't meet anyone, walked around the floor. This was about Heroes and Villains 2016.
But John Barrowman he was posting stuff on Instagram all the time.
John Barrowman.
That's pretty much where we knew where people were, because they're like, John Barrowman posted again.
Yeah. John Barrowman is a force to be reckoned with at most cons.
Yeah. He's a real fun guy.
Any closing thoughts on celebrity encounters, Rachel?
I just want to go back to cons and meet.
I know,
that's what we were saying. They're like,
it's been too long. I need to see it. I need to get some more autographs.
This is like the get hyped up for cons live stream.
Yeah, definitely more hyped up. I'm like, I'm ready to go. Let's go next week. When's the next one?
Photo ops. This is like Celebrity Plus.
Right, like the professional photo
so
ops.
you can usually get table photos with celebrities that allow it. Some of them don't allow it though, and they do show up for their professional photo ops if that's the case. There's a couple different companies that run these photo ops that are contracted by the conventions. We've worked with Epic Photo Ops, with Celeb Photo Ops, and with one guy that I can't remember his name. I think it was like Sci-Fi Photo Ops or something.
Yeah,
like at a small con that had like a green screen. Most of the time they'll have like a fancy backdrop that's like, like school picture day backdrop. It looks really nice. And then you go in, and the key thing about these photo ops, because they are way more expensive than the table selfies, if table selfies are offered, is that they are one and done. Like if you're putting down, what was it, 65-ish for Dana?
Now you paid for it. I don't know.
Stephen Amell, I know for a fact, was like $120 at Heroes and Villains, and he's probably way more expensive now because the Arrow show's over. So like it's prorated based on how exposed the celebrity is. But the celeb photo ops, what you pay is for one photo, and it's quick, like real quick, like get in and get out, because there's 500 people behind you who also want the photo that they paid $120 for. And so it's important to know, first and foremost, that photo ops are not meet and greets.
Yeah.
And if you go to a con and you purchase a photo op, you'll more than likely get an email that has an FAQ that says this like 8 times. Don't tell a story about your dog. Don't ask questions about the show the character's on. It's just for like a quick.
It's a quick like,
snap.
hi,
It's
how
a
you
memory.
doing?
You're paying for a memory. You're paying to like for a fun professional photo with this celebrity that you may never see again. And it's really, really fun. And we've taken to like having fun with these, which I'll share a little bit more about that in a second. But yeah, just like moving as quickly as possible, because this is what's waiting behind you. This is a standard photo of you.
Yep.
Line moves very fast because it takes like 5 seconds per shot.
But it moves fast because
they
may sometimes they can look at it and see like you may have blinked or something, and they might repeat it right then and there. But otherwise, like it's like, don't make a stupid face or talk, otherwise your photo will turn out like that.
This should go without saying, but also don't be a creep. I don't like every time that celeb photo ops, because I am a fan of their Facebook page, and they do like a live stream about whatever con they're about to join. Every single time, this poor guy who goes out like the night before to do these live streams sits there and is like, don't kiss the celebrities.
Oh my God.
And we're all sitting around like, man, do people still have to be told? Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, apparently we do.
Wow.
So there are things, obviously most celebrities, not all, most are willing to pose with you in a fun way, especially as COVID kind of pulls back a little bit. We found that a lot of the celebrities are starting to like open up to being like, no plexiglass in the photo, no masks have to be worn. Let's just have fun and get our money's worth out of it, which is what we really, really liked about photo ops, which is great. But the key thing is that to maintain that, we have to not be creeps. Yeah. We have to make a collective agreement not to be creeps, so that the celebs will still be willing to like do one of these so that we have the freedom to request poses, and it's not just and then get out.
Yeah, that ruins the whole experience.
Yes, it does. It does. And it ruins the experience for like 5 people behind you too. Because usually by the time you enter the photo op room, you're a little bit jittery. I'm just speaking from experience. Doesn't matter who the celeb is. Doesn't matter if you've met them several times. You're starting to feel the pressure amount of like, oh man, this goes fast. And this is a really famous person. And I really want to do this pose, but yada, yada. And so like while you're thinking about all of that, the person in front of you's like, hey, you mind if I give you a kiss on the cheek? And, you know, whoever's in the booth is like, no, thank you. And you're like, off your game for the remainder of the day.
Yep.
It kind of goes without saying to just, again, treat celebrities the way you would want to be treated. But like, if you would want to be treated poorly, then treat celebrities better.
Or just don't go to a con.
And the most important thing is, with those first 2 things in mind, have fun with the shot, because you are paying like a fair amount of money for them. So don't
be afraid to get creative.
Here's our montage of just a couple fun shots we've had. I'm going to start with Rachel's, because she sent this in with Corey Matthews from Boy Meets World.
Yes, it was so fun. We went to his panel right before, and then we like ran to get there before. I think we were like the last like 5 people before it. Like it's cut him off. Like it was so loud.
Wow.
Yeah,
really?
We were in the back of the line, but it was worth it.
But like he had to be there too from the same event.
Yeah, well, they only get like the 45-minute or 35 to 45 minute window, but it felt like forever because I was wearing heels. And
oh yeah, that'll do it.
Oh gosh,
heels at con is tough. You have my respect.
Mine too. I don't think I've done that yet.
Especially Wonder Woman's heels. Oh my gosh, it makes me so
yes. This is Dana De Lorenzo at MonsterCon. We told her, if you could look super chill and awesome, and we'll just do the Scooby-Doo cower pose behind you. She's like, cool. And then she did that. And then after the picture was taken, she was like, I feel like I just looked pissed, and now I'm really embarrassed. Like, did I ruin your picture?
We were like, no,
we're like, no, it's awesome.
Then She looks cool. She looks
It's
cool.
exactly what we wanted because that's her character in Ash vs. the Evil Dead. She's very
like
fierce.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I know, but we can't.
Yeah.
We can't use swear words, so I'm just saying fierce.
BA. There we go.
Danielle Panabaker from The Flash, Sky High, and everything Disney Channel all the time. Swedish friend.
We asked if we could pick her up, and she said yes, so we did.
Yes.
Cool.
She literally weighs like
Nothing.
an ounce.
She weighs nothing.
An ounce. This was before I even bothered going to the
it was
gym.
very easy to pick her up.
And this is the highlight of my entire life. Just FYI. This is Peggy
It
Carter
was.
from. I mean, it's Haley Atwell is the actual actress's name, but this is Peggy Carter from Captain America and the subsequent films. And
now she's Captain Carter.
She is Captain Carter now. And I was so nervous. I swear, like Katie was watching this photo be taken, and she was like, "Don't throw up! Don't throw up! Don't throw up!"
Yeah, I was like, "You did great."
I had to look right into her eyes, and I saw.
Yeah,
the
that's
face
what
of God.
he came back and he was like, I was staring into her eyes.
Well, because when so this is the thing about like having fun. Like if you want to have a fun photo with a special pose, you really need to bring a picture of the pose.
Yeah, bring like a reference photo.
Yeah, be like, can we do this? And if they're cool with it, then they're like, yes, that's fine. And if not, then okay, we just do whatever is casual and fun. And you need to respect that, by the way, because it is awkward. Only once ever did I present a reference photo that the celebrity wasn't cool with, and it surprised me because it wasn't like a super awkward pose or anything. But she just wasn't as
it didn't vibe.
Flexible. Yeah, it didn't vibe. So it threw me off my game a little bit, but we still had an awesome photo. Like, just respect the celebrities' choices, and if they want to be just standing there with you, no hugs, no handshakes, whatever, then that's their choice. And that's kind of the risk you run when you purchase a photo op, but a lot of them will have fun. Anyway, I told you we get off topic, Rachel.
No, I never thought about bringing a picture of what you want, the pose. That's genius. Like,
yeah,
I'm pretty sure Tim learned that from someone else, so we did not come up with that.
No, but that is, yeah.
Well, I
that's
didn't
what
know.
we started doing.
That's awesome. I'm so doing that.
Oh my gosh, we've actually taken like reference photos. I think like in the house we used to live at. Tim was like, I was like, he's like, I can't find a reference photo for this pose I want to do. So I had to like be two people, and he like photoshopped the pictures together.
That was the one with Katie Lotz and Katie Cassidy, and I wanted to have them like reading. So Katie Lotz on Arrow. Katie Cassidy was cast as a character who would eventually become DC Comics' Black Canary. But her sister character on the show was actually brought in as the first Black Canary in a move that kind of jilted a lot of people and made them very confused for a while. So we had two Black Canaries on the show for a little bit. And I wanted to bring in a comic book that I had that had the story of the Black Canary and had Black Canary on the cover, for them to like read over my shoulders and gasp. And that photo, by the way, turned out amazing.
It's really cute.
But getting a reference shot of that was
so he
key,
was like reading because I had to be both of them.
The time it would take me to explain that to someone in a photo op booth would be like more time in the photo op.
You would have lost that person too. Be like, wait, let's go back to the beginning. What did you want?
Exactly.
Yep.
So I don't have all of these photos to share, and I didn't want to anyway because it would take all night. But if you guys are interested in seeing all of our celeb photo ops, I will put it out there. We don't do enough for Facebook on our Tim and Katie Facebook page. If you guys are interested in seeing those photos, put it in the comments. If it seems like a group community consensus that everyone wants to see them, we'll make an album of all our celeb photo ops. And we've met like David Tennant, Katie Cassidy, Stephen Amell, John Barrowman.
I can't.
Boy Meets World cast.
Oh, that was a good one.
That's a fun one. Yeah.
We had one of like a ton of people in the Arrow cast too.
The entire Arrow
like
cast.
Whoever was at the con was there. That was an expensive photo.
That was the most expensive photo I've ever paid for.
But that was like 12 celebrities in one photo.
Oh wow. Well, that's a good deal.
Oh, it was very worth it. The memory lasts forever.
Before we spent all of our money on theme parks, we used to spend it all on conventions.
And probably will again. We'll just have less money.
That was before I was still in school then, so we really didn't
Merch.
have a lot. Anyway, merch.
Rachel, you were the one who, when I first sent the PowerPoint, you were like, we could talk about merch a little bit. So I have a feeling you have stuff to say about merch, in addition to being a small business owner yourself.
Oh my gosh, yes. Unfortunately, we don't really own any merches, even though I love that. That'd be fun, like a t-shirt or something. But oh my gosh, the first time me and my sister went down and we saw the huge floor just filled with all these different little shops, I was like, oh my gosh, blown away. It was amazing. And then we literally stopped at every single shop, just walked around the whole, I think it's like it's always like a rectangle. And it's like we were overwhelmed. There was like so many cool items. It's amazing. And like they had all these different figures. They have all these little cute things like plushy stuffed animal stuff, which was always fun. I got like a dog poncho that my husband wears to like almost every day. It's so funny. And then they have like swords and all these other cosplays. You can like buy an outfit there too.
You can build an entire cosplay.
And you're like, oh, I didn't dress up and I don't have anything. You can go and look and like there's wings and there's like armor pieces. It's everything. You can
Corsets. I remember always seeing corsets.
And there's manga.
I can't believe I left this out of the first draft of when we were first talking about doing this. I completely forgot about it. It is literally the first thing you see when you walk onto the convention floor. It doesn't matter what the convention is. You're always going to see wall to wall, like football stadium length room full of just tables and tables and tables of small businesses selling their handmade merch, or like repurposing other people's handmade merch, or like collectibles, or so on and so forth. Like it really is like a small shop hub.
Yeah. Well, there's like I know at like Otakon and AwesomeCon, there was like the I can't even remember what it was called, but it was like there was the merch side, and then there was like the other side was like the artist alley side, which still has more of like still has merch and stuff like that, but some of it's more, I guess, kind of what you think of like being on Etsy but in person. Like there's just so much stuff that people have handmade and whatnot too, and it's overwhelming at how impressive these small shops can be, and you most definitely will find something that you cannot live without.
Yep.
And usually it will be a print, because there's amazing artists
in that area.
I mean, there was one person like selling their board game that they created themselves, even like the pieces. And our friend was with us. She's like, I'm buying this board game. She got that. We have prints in our bathroom that are Disney prints that were purchased the last time we went to AwesomeCon.
I've actually sent some prints to our friend April from Thrifty Nerdy Mom that we picked up at. I probably should have mentioned this earlier on. We actually worked one con for an artist, a celebrity artist named Rob Pryor. Truly amazing experience. That was also at Heroes and Villains, which is why that con is so near and dear to our hearts. But his art style, I mean, we were selling all freaking day. And I mean like all freaking, like we took maybe a half hour's lunch break and maybe 20 minutes to go and hobnob with celebs. And that was it. Like the rest of the con, we were just like pulling things out and taking money and pulling things out and taking money. There was no slowing down. So like if you're a small business or an artist or some Etsy provider, like there's no rules about this. Like you can go, and if you make your own, like,
I mean, people make their own like pins,
character beanie
jewelry,
babies, or like
knitting characters, outfits, everything. I mean, anything.
Blanket.
It is the perfect place to get started. And like if you go to a con and you don't know about all of this, and this sounds like a bit overwhelming from what we're describing, wait till you get there. Like if you walk in and you're a small business owner and you look at that floor and you see like people exchanging and people smiling and like how busy this place is, you're like, I got to get in on this. And you can, because the cons will always have like vendor submissions.
Yeah.
You can
They might
purchase
fill
table
up though,
space.
so you have to
Fill up pretty fast.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've never not been impressed by the art and the merch, and yeah, always walked away with something.
It's like the Star Wars marketplace.
Yeah, and it's like it's kind of like an open air
smells
market, except for it's usually in like the basement of a giant convention center.
Yeah, but it's awesome.
Yeah,
and it's just as exciting.
yeah.
All right, we gotta talk about the ugly subject. The elephant in the room. And as an elephant in a room, you need to shower.
Yes.
It's just the truth of the matter. Look, if you're going, you don't have to go and hobnob with celebrities. We've established this. You don't have to
Cosplay.
You don't have to cosplay. You don't have to like roam around and get like comic books signed. You can do whatever you want to do. But be aware that whatever you're doing it, whether you're thinking about it consciously or not, with probably a minimum of 5,000 other people at some point or another.
Depending on the size of your con, but
at some point or another, coming up and close and personal with your bubble, because there's only so much space. So brush your teeth, take a shower, take a rinse,
Put some
work on your
deodorant.
shirt, deodorant. Like it's just, I mean, treat it like you would any other gathering of people that you want to impress, even if you don't actually want to impress them. Just for everyone else's comfort and well-being and creating a safe space for everyone else, just do the bare minimum. It's all anyone's going to ask.
Yep.
Yep.
And I say that as someone who like wore a Deathstroke costume and sweat like all the way through it and had to like go back to a hotel room to change, because it does happen. But it is also like
after that too, and that when you do get in a shower, you're like, oh
yeah. The end of the con day is like dying and going to heaven. Even though it's a super fun day, you get home and you take a shower and you're like, I'm never moving again.
Yes.
Take
Put
your
your
costume off.
Final tips from our side, and then I'll let you speak to these too, Rachel, if you have any fun stories to tell.
Okay.
Be patient. Put on your patient pants. There's going to be lines.
There's gonna be lines.
There's going to be lines.
You're gonna have to wait.
There's going to be a line to get in line because you usually have to take a line to like go and pick up your badge to enter the con floor. Then you have to wait in whatever lines on the con floor. And you gotta, I mean, just like any theme park or any other event, you got to kind of decide what your time is worth, what you want to experience, what you don't, so on and so forth. But the key thing is just be aware that everyone is doing their best to get you where you want to be and be respectful of your time. So be respectful of their time as well. Stay hydrated. This is especially important if you're sweating a lot.
Yeah, I was going to say, this goes along with Rachel's point of you could be sweating a lot.
I felt so nasty at AwesomeCon. I wasn't even in costume, but just like I hit a point midway through the day where I was like, I feel crummy. And we call it con crud when someone like picks up a bug on the con floor, because you have no way of knowing what it was. And it could have been any one of these 5,000 people that gave it to you. So, you go to a con and you're like, ugh, I got con crud. And that's what I thought it was just me being like, ugh, I've been to a con for a day and a half and I'm already done because I've just got whatever someone's given me. Then I had 2 water bottles and I realized I was just dehydrated. And I was like, good to go. Because dehydration can sneak up on you at an event where you're not in the sun.
Yeah, you're not even outside in Florida. You're just inside in Baltimore and you're hot.
Or DC, or Orlando, or wherever you are. Yeah, it'll sneak up on you just like it will at any other event. Most important piece of advice I can offer as someone who is not a huge fan of the idea of cons going into my first one is to find your con. We've talked about cosplay, about merch, about celeb photo ops, about taking pictures of other cosplayers, about getting autographs signed, about small business. Like, there's so many different things at each individual, and no 2 cons are alike. Some cons bear similarities between them, but like no 2 cons are exactly the same, have exactly the same guests, have exactly the same vendor tables. And not all vendor tables are just like stuff being sold to you either. Some of it is like activities or experiences, which is what my next slide was actually going to be. AwesomeCon had a giant toothless one year from How to Train Your Dragon. This was the most fun thing that I could have possibly imagined doing at a convention, was riding a dragon. And I did it. And it was worth the $50 or whatever I paid.
I don't even think they were charging, because it was like he built it and then
That's
he was
paper
like,
mache. That is a paper mache dragon.
he built
that
it and was
made.
like, if you want a picture of it, the money goes to charity or something. And we were like, oh, we're definitely taking
Wow, okay. That's impressive. Wow.
So like finding your con is key, and it can be whatever you want it to be. Like it doesn't have to be celebrities. It doesn't have to be going merch hunting. And people you go with may want to do different things than you do, and that's okay. Like you don't have to stick to other people like glue. If you're suffering through a con, you're probably not
at the
doing
right one.
the con properly. You know what I'm saying?
Or you're not at the right con.
I guess, but like even Otakon, like I would not say my preferred con is an anime convention. That was my first one that I ever did, was an anime convention with Katie, but that is not what I'm about in the con world now. It's more, that was kind of like my gateway, and I had fun getting to know cosplayers and taking pictures and whatnot. And then the next con we went to was Heroes and Villains, and it became all about the celebrity encounters and the experiences you can do and all kinds of cool stuff like that. And it just, it resonates with you. Like when we went to Monster Mania the other week, it was crowded. It was hot. It was hot inside. It was pouring rain outside. It was hot inside though. I'm standing by that because it was crowded and it was a little bit hard to navigate because we'd never been there before. And we were frustrated. I'm not going to lie. But the minute we met up with Dana De Lorenzo and she was spending like 15 minutes talking to people, that girl, by the way, can speak in ASL, like sign language, which was amazing to see because a deaf family came up and she was able to have like a full conversation with them. And
awesome.
They were like getting teary-eyed. And I was like,
getting teary-eyed.
This is why I go to cons right here, just watching this happen. This is the coolest thing. Just seeing, but it's different for everyone.
Yeah.
So those are our do's and don'ts from the Kim and Katie side. Anything to add, Wonder Woman?
I would just say, like, do your research to find which con. Maybe get like a schedule so you can like plan it out in the head of what you want to do, and have fun. Like it's for you learning about all these other cosplayers. You go to all these cool panels. You can meet celebrities, buy all this merch. They even have a huge floor just like a video game section where you can just play cards.
Yeah.
And you could be there literally all day if you wanted. You could be at any section all day. You could just pick a spot. But you really got to explore it. And I think I recommend like your first con, the first day, to just go like as like not in a costume, just like to look. If it's your very first con, just go experience, like just go explore, see what it's all about. And then the next day you'll be like, okay, I'm ready. I know what to do, and I'm gonna dress like whatever.
Agree with that.
And you don't have to dive into the deep end either. Bring your Pikachu onesie.
That's super comfortable. And people are like, oh, look at him, the onesie. You can just like sleep on the floor everywhere.
I still have like an itch to get a onesie, but my problem is I can't decide which one to get.
There's so many.
There's so many, and I don't want to have a closet full of them but I also feel like once I break that seal, it's just gonna explode. But anyway, no, those are great points.
Yeah,
great points.
I absolutely agree with the don't go in costume the first day.
And also doing your research.
Yeah,
that's always a good idea.
Yeah. So I will begin to close her up by putting our creator spotlight on blast here. This week we wanted to highlight, if you're new to the broadcast, since we're reaching a slightly different audience this week, we usually wrap up by kind of highlighting some other creators that we follow, that we've really taken to, and that inspire us to be better with what we're doing. This week we especially wanted to call these people out because these are people that are constantly supporting us, that are constantly watching our live streams and liking our posts on Instagram and whatnot. And we don't do enough to support them, I feel. So I wanted to put on blast Keeping Up in Disney, who have a YouTube and Instagram account. That's Jamie and Ari. They love Disney. They go to Disney probably more often than we do even. And they've been talking to me for a couple weeks about going to Universal for the first time too. So I know they're going to start cranking out some of that content soon. And that'll be fun to watch through new eyes, because I feel like we've been to Universal so many times. It just kind of like, we take it for granted a little bit. A little bit. I still love Universal.
No, I don't take it for granted. I just want to do
more
things. Yeah, even more things.
Want to do more. Mandy from WW Through My Eyes, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. She is a new vlogger, new to the vlogging scene. So she's been, I don't think she's in here tonight, but she has been on the last couple of live streams. And I know she's been really supportive of our channel. So we really appreciate that. She's doing great with her channel because everything we're doing, she's doing with kids. So it's twice as hard to create great content when you've got people to manage.
Applaud those moms out there.
And then Cam from Cam's Travels is in no way, shape, or form a newcomer in this arena. But he has YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and a website. And I believe he just recently started helping with vacation planning. So that's on his.
Yeah, I think he did.
If you go to his his link tree on Instagram, you'll see that too. But he's got a fantastic YouTube channel. He just got back from Disneyland Paris and Europe. So he's pumping out a couple vlogs that are few and far between, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And of course, everyone should follow Rachael and Happily Ever After Princess Company. All the links are down in the description if I didn't goof anything up.
I think it's all
right. I'll make sure I'm not crazy. Yes, Facebook and Instagram. And you had a Happily Ever After Princess Company website too, but I think it's.
So we did take it down because we have to pay for it a month, and we were going to close, and now we're slowly starting to reopen. So when we start parties again, we'll definitely have the website.
Okay.
But really not right now.
And in the meantime, people should just be going to Facebook for your events, right? To get word and register. Facebook. And if they want to register, I know for a fact there's a limited amount of space at each event, and there are sessions, so you should get in as early as possible if it's something you're interested in. Your kids will love it. We know because we see the happy kids in all of the pictures.
Oh, I'm so excited for this Saturday. It's going to be amazing.
And parents love it too, because there is one leading it.
Yeah.
It's always fun to see the kids get excited about the princesses or the heroes.
Our next live stream will be in 2 weeks because we do this every other Tuesday at 7:30. We're going to be talking about Chad and Vanessa. If you're still on, I know you're waiting for this one. Coaster credits, what they are, what they mean, what counts and what doesn't, in our definitive opinion.
I don't know if we actually agree on what
we're going to start wars, people. We're going to start wars. But yes, we are going to be delving back into the theme park world after this excursion into the con world. I will probably not show up with Pikachu on my head for that one, but it's going to be a lot of fun. So they are here.
Hey!
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Rachael, is there anything else anyone needs to hear from you?
I think you guys covered everything. This was amazing. Thank you for inviting me. I had so much fun.
Thank you for coming.
More for any Disney or more cosplay stuff, you can invite me and I'm happy to join.
Yes, of course.
Absolutely.
And hopefully we'll run into you at another con sometime.
We are going to be doing more cons. We're getting back into it. So eventually we will bump into you in person again. And I hope that you will be willing to pop on as a cameo for the vlog at that time, because it would be great for people to see you again.
Absolutely.
Cool. I'm asking permission. See you guys.
Respect
the cosplayer.
Blah, blah, that word.
All right, guys. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up for tonight. Thank you so much for joining. I'm Tim.
I'm Katie.
This is our friend Rachael, cosplaying as Wonder Woman. And
every day is a new adventure.
Thank you very much for joining. We will see you next time.
Bye.